I've been waiting forever for the rain to stop. It's been raining for the last over 5 hours. Every single time it stops, it starts again in like 2-3 minutes, and I just figured, you know what, I want to record this video. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that my mic, which turns out is working after all, is able to pick up my voice. So it's almost the end of February, which means it's almost the end of BlackAthon, and this is just my check-in because I'm almost done reading all my books, and I was wondering if you all are almost done reading your books, or if you've already finished, because you know I like to keep most of my reading done until the last moment. So I figured it was about time I do the third challenge of BlackAthon, which is all about spoken word poetry. And before I start, let me just say, Jessie, you have excellent taste in poetry. Excellent. Hello everybody, Nora back again. So like I said in my intro, the third challenge is basically all about listening to 4 poems that Jessie at Both Sides and Books shared with us, and we're meant to choose which of the poems they shared as was our favorite, and then talk about how and why. And we had different options. We could talk about it on Twitter, we could talk about it with a friend, but I just figured why not do it on my channel, because you all are my friends. And also because, I don't know, I just, if you've not listened to the poems, I figured this would be an excellent time for you to do so, because those poems are banging. Utter perfection. Like I said earlier, Jessie, you have excellent taste in poetry. So we had 4 poems to listen to and to choose our favorite from, and they were Balinoptera by Joshua Brandon Bennett, What I've Learned by Aja Bonet, Waiting by Jasmine Mans, Alicia Harris, and Jenna Bell, and Causes Black by Javon Johnson. Now, each of these poems were utter perfection. I listened to them all throughout the month multiple times because I couldn't pick a favorite, and it was just physically painful because when you've listened to poetry that good, it's hard, it's so fucking hard to narrow down to one. And I could see why they were all one of Jessie's favorites, because they are all such powerful poems with powerful messages. And I love spoken word poetry, y'all. I love spoken word poetry. But I had to pick one favorite, and although it took forever, but I listened to this poem over and over all throughout last night and into this morning until I made my choice. And when I made my choice, it felt right. Everything just clicked. So the poem I chose as my favorite out of the 4 is What I've Learned by Aja Bonet. Now, that poem. Now, why do I love What I've Learned? I love it because of its honesty. I love it because of the way Aja's voice rings with clarity and truth. I love it because of how it makes me feel. I feel seen. I feel heard. Every single instance, most of the instances she mentioned in the poem were things I could relate with, because they were also things I felt. And that poem was my favorite because it was most me. So how was it most me? There were certain lines from the poems that resonated with me because there were similarities in what she said with my life and how I felt. I love the part where she says, I know how to reach difficult places, how to be broken and put together again. And those words were a punch in the gut, because I have been broken so many times and put together, each jagged piece becoming more jagged but filling into this mosaic of who I am. And it resonated. That line reached deep and I felt it, because that was me, and I have been that person in so many moments. She said, I know laughter sometimes sounds like bubble wrap, and it's my favorite part of unpacking boxes. When I smile, I squint my eyes, and I'm smiling right now, and I know I'm squinting my eyes, and just the joy that comes with unpacking boxes and seeing what they hold, what they contain, is just, it resonates. It's just such a beautiful sound. That laughter that pours out of you, that outpouring of joy at discovering something you love. I could relate so much with her in that moment. I love the part where she says, I know Swedish fish used to cost 5 cents in the bodega, and that resonated with me because I remembered back in the day when there was this minty gum I used to buy for 50 kobo, and it had hidden in the folds of the wrapper, questions and some hidden facts that you would not have known otherwise. And inflation is a bitch, and so many things that used to be a part of our childhood, a part of who we are, the part of who we are growing up, has just faded away and gone. Some of them gone out of business because they could not sustain the cost, and some of them gone out of business because they became just too expensive to produce and nobody was willing to drop the price. But I remember those times, those happier times, and it just, hearing her say that just transported me into a similar time in my own life, in my own childhood, and I couldn't help but smile. I also love the part where she says, I know my mother used to rap. I know she gave up her dreams when she had children, and I know she wishes she didn't. And it just, that hit me, because my mother had dreams. Before she had me, she wanted to go to culinary school. She loves to cook. She can cook. She makes the most delicious of meals, and that was her dream. And then she got pregnant, and she had to stay at home with me, and her dreams just vanished like smoke. And I know sometimes when she looks at me pursuing my dreams and doing the things I want to do, and she's like, she's so proud of me, somewhere at the back of my mind, I know she wonders how her life would have turned out if she had stuck her guns, if she had stuck to her guns and followed her dream. But then I would not be here, nor would I exist. And would I be willing to sacrifice my existence in order for my mother to be happy? I like to think that I would. My mother also made sacrifices for me so I could be able to go to a good school, which is something that Ajay's mother did as well. She also mentions a love for Greek mythology and a desire to visit Greece, which I related to so hard because that is also me. And then there's a part here where she says, I know books can make you disappear, and laughter, whether organic or forced, can help you relieve stress. And it struck me because, one, I think everybody in booktube would agree that books can make us disappear in the most delightful and beautiful of ways. But the part about laughter, whether forced or organic, relieving stress, is so right, because laughter is my default when I'm awkward, when I feel awkward. I've even been in situations where I've been terrified out of my mind, and I just burst out laughing because it's my coping mechanism, and it's also a way for me to, like she said, relieve stress, which I related to so hard. She also says, I know I was well into adulthood before I heard her say I was beautiful, and by her she means her mother. And she also says here, I know she is still my definition of beauty, and by she still means her mother. And those words struck me because growing up as a child, I looked at my mother and she was the most beautiful person I'd ever seen. That nobody, no other mother, no other person could hold a candle to who she was, to her beauty. She was the most beautiful person I'd ever seen, and I always felt ugly and awkward and clumsy because my mother is also graceful. She's also taller than me. And for a long time as a child, I was convinced I was adopted. I used to go meet her and like, show me my real parents, because obviously someone as gorgeous as you could not have given birth to my ugly ass. I didn't put it in those words because when I was young I didn't say ass, but now I probably would. And she was just like, no, I'm your mother. And she just kept looking at me like I'd lost my damn mind, but I didn't care. I was convinced that there was no way someone that beautiful could have birthed me and I looked the way I did. And although she kept trying to reassure me, she never said it. She never used those words in those exact terms, that exact way, you are beautiful, until I grew up as an adult. And I remember it was at my first job. I was feeling really pretty. I took a picture and I sent to her, and she was like, wow, you're beautiful. And I stopped. That was a moment. But yeah, it took her so long. It's something she'd always, I guess it's something she knew, but she didn't think she felt the need to tell me, which is sad because younger me wanted to hear it. So I also loved, she also said here, I know you can be more than one person at the same time. We all suffer, and the basis of all human suffering is deception. And she finally, insanity sometimes means coping, and it also means no one understands me. And growing up for so long, I just felt like I was talking into a void, that no one could see me, no one understood where I was coming from, what I had to say, no one wanted to hear what I had to say. And when I was being myself, the common phrase a lot of people used for me was that I was crazy. And I had a problem with that, but shit happens, I guess. And they didn't understand me, and it took for a long time their words hurt, until it actually did click that, of course, my insanity is because of their ignorance and the fact that they could not place me into a tidy box of who they wanted me to be. And I was so many different people. I still am. I am a plethora of persons, each person as unique and as personal to me as the next. And it was their loss, I guess. So yes, that's the reason. Those are the reasons why I love this poem. This poem is I love this poem so damn much. I love it. So yes, those are the reasons why I love this poem. I love it because it's relatable. I love it because, like I said, I see myself in it. And I'm definitely going to keep listening to it over and over again. Just all of them, actually. I don't think it's a one-time listen thing, because they're all so powerful and they all have so much to say. And I just want to say thank you again to Jessie for putting together this amazing selection of poems. I want to thank them for the poems. I want to thank Francina Simone. I want to thank Lauren of the Novel Lush for putting together BlackAthon. It's been such an amazing month and an amazing experience, and I hope sincerely that we get to do it and repeat it next year as well. So yeah, those are my thoughts, and those are the reasons why I love What I've Learned by Aja Monet. If you have not listened to any of the poems yet, I will list them down in the description bar below. Please go listen to them. So yes, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also check out my other videos, subscribe, leave comments down below if you like this poem, if you've listened to it, how it made you feel, or if it is that you actually preferred any of the other poems that were, you know, offered to us for us to listen to. Yeah, I make new videos every Sundays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and I will see you soon. Until then, stay passionate, love books, love yourself. Bye.